Imagine standing at the edge of a deep, dark lake. Beneath the surface, something is waiting. Your survival depends on answering one single question. Long ago, in an ancient kingdom, 3 royal brothers found themselves forced into exactly this scenario. The eldest was Prince Goodspeaker, followed by Prince Moon, and the youngest, Prince Sun. Their trouble started at home. The queen, eager to secure her own legacy, demanded that her son, Prince Sun, be named the next king, bypassing his older brothers entirely. The king faced a difficult dilemma. Fearing the queen might use lethal means to clear the path for her son, he secretly ordered Goodspeaker and Moon to leave the kingdom until it was safe to return. But Prince Sun refused to take the crown at the expense of his family. He abandoned his royal future and followed his older brothers into the wild. One person's drive for power rarely stays contained. It ripples outward, pushing people out of their safe, familiar lives and into unpredictable situations. For months, the 3 princes traveled into the rugged terrain of the Himalayas. Miles from civilization, the constant walking took its toll, leaving them severely exhausted and thirsty. Eventually, they stumbled upon a clearing. Nestled in the dense forest was a beautiful lake. The water was a vivid, dark blue and perfectly still. Dehydrated and tired, Prince Sun and Prince Moon didn't stop to examine their surroundings. They sprinted to the shoreline and waded straight into the water to drink. In an instant, the surface broke. Something pulled them under, locking them away in a deep underwater cave. When we are exhausted or desperate, our instincts urge us to take the quickest relief available. But acting blindly on those physical impulses is often how we walk straight into a trap. When his brothers didn't return, Prince Goodspeaker approached the water. He was just as thirsty as they were, but he intentionally slowed down to analyze the environment. This diagram outlines his exact logic. Looking down at the muddy dank, he noticed 2 distinct sets of footprints leading directly to the water's edge, but none returning. He concluded that whatever went into the lake did not come back out. Think about your own close calls. How many times have you avoided a bad situation simply because you took a moment to actually look at what was in front of you? Seeing that Goodspeaker wouldn't enter the water, the demon of the lake surfaced disguised as a friendly villager, urging the prince to come in and wash. But Goodspeaker had already read the environment and immediately saw through the disguise. By breaking the cycle of impulse, Goodspeaker turned observation into a defense. This level of awareness prevents us from being manipulated by deceptive appearances. Caught in the lie, the villager vanished. The water erupted, and a massive, shadowy figure rose from the depths. The demon laid out the stakes. He possessed the rights to this lake, and he would eat the trapped brothers unless Goodspeaker could correctly define the teaching of the gods. Goodspeaker didn't beg for mercy. Instead, he pointed to his own dust-covered clothes and refused to speak of high wisdom while in such a condition. By demanding a clean seat and water, he forced the physical monster to act as an attentive student. Once seated, the prince delivered the answer. The teaching of the gods is to have the shame and fear required to avoid doing wrong, and to always choose actions that bring happiness to others. Goodspeaker's defense relied on his refusal to abandon the principles he had spent his life developing. This provided a shield that physical strength could not break. The demon was satisfied with the answer, but he offered a final test, agreeing to release only one of the brothers. Goodspeaker made a surprising decision. He told the demon to release his youngest half-brother, Prince Sun, even though it meant leaving his full brother, Prince Moon, in the cave. This chart explains the political logic. If Goodspeaker chose to save Prince Moon, the public would assume the older brothers murdered Prince Sun to remove him as a rival for the throne. By protecting the brother who was the cause of his exile, Goodspeaker diffused the suspicion that would have torn the capital apart. He prioritized the stability of the kingdom over his personal attachment to his full brother. Wisdom requires us to look past our immediate preferences, to measure the long-term consequences our actions will have on the rest of society. The demon was disarmed by this selfless logic. Realizing that the prince lived by the teachings he preached, The monster dove down and brought both brothers safely back to the shore. Before leaving, Good Speaker explained to the demon that unwholesome deeds lead to a future of pain. He argued that choosing pure actions instead would generate peace and self-respect. Consider how your daily actions shape your identity. Are you making choices based on what you want right now, or how they will influence the people around you tomorrow? Eventually, the old king passed away. The three brothers returned to the capital, where Good Speaker was crowned. They brought the reformed demon to live with them, ensuring the kingdom entered a long era of peace. A leader's authority is defined by the weight of the choices they are willing to make for the benefit of others. Because in the end, unwholesome actions bring shame and fear. Wholesome actions bring self-respect and peace.